Hello, everyone. My name is Tero Pes, and I'm the chair of CCBG at TCC. And here with me is Puneet Jain, the chair of 3GPP-SA. And we are here to hear an update on SA Plenary 104 from Shanghai. Thank you for joining, Puneet.
Thank you very much, Tero. And like always, it's a pleasure talking with you.
There are a whole lot of things. Are there any particular highlights you would like to give us topics, or shall we go straight to your presentation?
There is actually one thing which was really a milestone that was achieved in TSG 104 meetings in Shanghai, and that was basically mark of completion of release 18. So release 18 ASN.1 and Open API freeze was declared in June, and that marks a complete set of 18 release 18 specifications which are now completely implementable and deployable, fully ready for the market. So that was a big achievement from
absolutely
from Shanghai, yes.
Fantastic. So congratulations. There's enormous amount of work has been done to that, and I think the Secretariat is creating now also a document which explains each feature. So it's yes, coming available in the next few weeks or something.
That is correct. Yeah. So basically what we have from MCC is a release 18 summary, and that document is going to be ready and distributed. What we are also looking is to create some sort of a presentation or summary slides on release 18. That's still under discussion, and hopefully we'll also create some sort of a slide deck which is useful for companies to have a quick review of the new features and functionality that has been provided by release 18.
So everyone put on your calendar for the second half of the year to study those documents to know precisely what release 18 is. How about I hand over to you now for the rest of the presentation?
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so thank you, Tero, and let me talk about the 6G workshop planning and 5G advanced workshop planning details. So this is something which was endorsed at the Shanghai plenary. So as you may know that we have already had a IMT 2030 use cases workshop that was happened in May at Rotterdam. And that was the first workshop which kickstarted the 6G work in 3GPP. And that workshop was primarily focused on the use cases discussions and the stage 1 requirements and discussions. And in that workshop, basically, we invited the operators, verticals, MRPs, as well as the regional research alliances. And there was a discussion mainly focusing around the IMT 2030 use cases. And after that, we also had a SA1 meeting where each 3GPP member companies presented their views on 6G. And that also included the mission critical community, presenting an excellent slides on their views on the 6G requirements and the use cases. Now, the next step on the 6G workshop is having a TSG-wide workshop that is between RAN, SA, and CT. And this will happen in March 10th and 11th. That would be co-located with the TSG 107 meetings. And these meetings will happen in Korea. In terms of timing, what we'll have is a joint, 6G workshop will start with a joint RAN, SA, and CT session on Monday morning. And that would go from morning to noon. And then there would be a split parallel session between RAN and SA for Monday, and goes up to Tuesday, 15:30. And we will conclude that workshop by again going through a joint session on Tuesday afternoon, where the summary of the workshop would be discussed. So just to continue on the 6G workshop agenda. So as I mentioned, the workshop will open on Monday, and the contribution from 3GPP members on 6G technology, with a focus on system and core network aspects. And 6G stage 2 study organization would be discussed. And we'll try to limit one contribution per company, as we expect a large number of contributions and we would have a very limited time. Our intention is basically to allow each company contribution to be handled. But if we have a large number, we may do some sort of a selection of the input contributions. One thing I wanted to highlight is that the focus should be mainly on the technology, 6G technology and study item organization. We already have gone through the 6G use cases. So such kind of a paper may still be submitted, but may not get handled during the workshop. And then the chairman summary and the open discussion would happen on Tuesday afternoon. And we basically ask no individual contributions on this item. The TSG chairs will prepare the summary. On the contribution front, individual contributions are invited for this parallel session, and our 3GPP members as well as MRPs verticals are welcome to submit the contributions. And again, depending upon number of contribution, we'll see how many of them can be handled. Hopefully, we will have a time for all of them. So this is mainly the details on the 6G workshop. So let me also talk about the 5G Advanced. So as you know that release 20 would have a 6G studies, but at the same time, 5G Advanced studies as a parallel tracks. So 5G Advanced timelines has already been agreed in the previous plenary meetings, which you see on the screen. Now for discussing the 5G Advanced topics in release 20, we would have a dedicated agenda and discussion that would be arranged in December plenary meeting as part of SA 106. So it will target a one-day workshop for discussing the 5G Advanced topics, and that would start on 9 a.m. on Tuesday and finish on 4 p.m. on Friday. That is mainly the SA meeting, but the workshop will be happening on the Monday. The release 20 prioritization might be needed, because if we look at the past, most of the time we will end up in having a large number of study items that can fit into the 5G Advanced timeline. Since the 5G Advanced timeline has already been agreed, we need to make sure that the content fits it within this timeline. So if prioritization is needed, we may either do a one-step prioritization that would be in June 2025, or like as we did it in release 19, we may do a two-step prioritization, which means certain topics may get prioritized in March 2025, and the remaining would then be in June 2025. Now, the details on this is still under discussion, but it would be provided no later than December on whether we're going to do a one-step or two-step prioritization. So this is basically providing all the details in terms of both the 6G workshop as well as 5G Advanced workshop that for the release
20. Excellent. Quite interesting things. There will be a lot of prioritization work happening, and obviously for our sector as well. What I'm hearing is that quite important for us to discuss with our fellow market representation partners with other verticals, find the common paths as much as possible, and we are trying to do that work in various forums right now. Considering the workshop we had on the use cases in May, it seemed that quite many verticals were highlighting things that have been started in the 5G era but might not have been completed yet, to be quite important. So I think it's an important selection there, which of those that work will land in the 5G Advanced work in release 20, which part of it might be then highlighted in the release 6 work, and the studies for the further releases to come on down the road.
That's a very good point. So I think we would continue to expect that critical communications community will be fully engaged like they have in past, and basically bring in their views in terms of what can be achieved within the 5G advance, because we know that the release 20 is likely to be the last release for 5G advance. I shouldn't say that, but the general expectation is that after release 20, the normative work will transition more towards 6G. So basically the functionality that can be achieved in 5G advanced versus what can be done in 6G would be a good discussion points during these workshops.
Yeah, and I think that for the entire community in well, this entire telecommunication sector, we need to recognize that 6G is most of all then fully deployed in the 2040s. So we need to address the needs of that society, those societies, and those times. So maybe for all of us, it makes sense to look at the long-term trends and what the futurologists are saying. Coming back to the shorter-term things and Shanghai, I think that there were also quite a bunch of other quite important things happening there.
Yes, so there were a couple of more things. So one thing I wanted to highlight is basically there was a new study item on mission critical support on generic IOPS mode for operation that was approved. And this would be led by SA6, which is an application enablement working group. So the key objective of this study is to look at the technical specification 23.180 for the changes needed to add a generic IOPS support to the 3GPP system. Things like updating the functional model of the mission critical architecture for IOPS mode of operation, identifying IOPS specific procedure applicable to MCPTT and MC data operation, and investigate the support of limited backhaul scenarios, for example, using NTN. And the
Yeah,
expectation
just
is
for
that
those who might not be familiar with the abbreviation, IOPS stands for Isolated Operations for Public Safety, whereas I think it's fair to consider public safety here might be utilities, also to a degree general public and so on. But originally it was defined by the public safety community.
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to mention that the expectation is that this study would be finished by TSG 106 meeting, which is December. And the rapporteur of this is Mark Lifford from FirstNet. And there was another study which is very interesting, and that was also approved. Now, this is a study on 3GPP AI/ML consistency alignment. So, and the difference between this and other study item is this is actually going to be a assay-led study. So this study would happen at the assay level, not at the working group level. And basically what and there was quite a bit of a discussion on this one. So as we know that in release 18 and release 19, many working groups in SA, CT, and RAN have already performed study items and work item related to AI/ML topics. And these activities address different user scenarios and associated specific use cases exploiting AI/ML for the operation of 3GPP system. And this range from the radio interface operation, NG-RAN operation. Examples are energy saving, load balancing, and also work encompasses the network management, orchestration, media services, and application enablement aspects. So with the complexity of 3GPP system and its operations, it is vital that the use of AI/ML operation in 3GPP system uh, for any given use cases be bound to a specific principle. And this includes capability to, example, fall back to non-AI/ML operation whenever necessary, not to negatively affect any network and end-to-end performance, and if it's really needed. So this required a introduction of common set of definitions to prevent any inconsistency in either in definitions or use of AI/ML lifecycle management across 3GPP working groups. So this study will investigate ongoing AI/ML work in various working groups across CT, RAN, and SA, and identify instances of any potential misalignment or inconsistency, and basically try to provide information on any potential outcome from these aspects to the respective working group. So this is something very interesting, and there was quite a bit of a support again, in terms of expected output and time scale, it is expected to be finished by June 2025, and going to be led by Johannes Archer from Deutsche Telekom.
I find that a very, very important study, since the artificial intelligence, machine learning field is very versatile, developing really rapidly, and at least I'm personally hoping that it will provide a lot of capabilities in terms of resilience of the systems, the ability to recover, as well as of course then provide new services and capabilities. So I'm quite hopeful with the study, and it's so complex, it does need this work to ensure that everything is aligned. Perhaps a couple other topics which I personally picked up from Shanghai, maybe more from the RAN side. One was the work item for multi-hop on side link, device to device on side link was approved, as was agreed in Edinburgh in December. So now the actual work, normative specification work, can start, as well as, quite interestingly, the terms of reference for RAN 5 working group were discussed, and now a consensus has been reached that they can be slightly changed. RAN 5 makes these test cases so far only for mobile stations, so basically for devices, but exclusively and limited to public safety or critical communication needs. Also, server to server related test cases can be made, and I must say that this is one of those big things that our community are ever so thankful to 3GPP for taking vertical requirements into consideration. So thank you to the 3GPP leadership for flexibility also on this matter.
Thank you. No, you're very welcome. And I think that's a very good development that happened with an agreement of updating the terms of references for RAN 5. So now basically the test cases for server to server is specifically limited to critical communication, public safety will be defined. So the expectation again here is that the updated terms of references for RAN 5 would be approved in August meeting in Maastricht, and from there onwards, the work would start within the RAN 5 group.
Excellent. And how do you see now the next meeting, plenary meeting, will be in Melbourne, and you have agreed with the rest of the leadership also. We are arranging there on the, was it 17th of September, a meeting in Melbourne with public safety community. So that's for our community a possibility to come and learn more, ask questions, and meet Puneet in person in Australia. So please utilize this opportunity, and if you have some questions you would want me to ask, then you can send them by email to me, tero.pesonen@tcca.info. How do you look forward to Australia?
I'm very much looking forward to that meeting. As you already mentioned that we're going to have a plenary meetings in Melbourne, Australia, which would be the TSG 105 meetings, and a week after that on Tuesday, I believe, we are having a dedicated meeting with the critical communications and public safety teams. So I'm very excited to have this meeting, And as you mentioned, I will look forward to answer any questions, give you an updates on where 3GPP is progressing, and work together to basically continue the work we have been doing in 3GPP.
Excellent. So thank you very much for this update so far, and looking forward to create a new update then after the September meetings.
Thank you very much, Tero. And again, it's very much pleasure to be here and talking with you. And I look forward to our next meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.